Item 316. Seal code. 1. Description. Construct a surface treatment consisting of one or more applications of a single layer of asphalt material covered with a single layer of aggregate. 2. Materials. Furnish materials of the type and grade shown on the plans in accordance with the following. 2.1 Asphalt. Furnish asphalt materials meeting the requirements of Item 300, asphalts, oils, and emulsions. Furnish Type 2 or Type 3 AR binder in accordance with Section 300.2.9, asphalt rubber binders, as shown on the plans. Furnish a blend design for approval. Include in the design, at a minimum, the following. Manufacturer and grade of asphalt cement. Manufacturer and grade of crumb rubber. Manufacturer, type, and percentage of extender oil, if used. Test report on crumb rubber gradation in accordance with Text 200F, Part I. Design percentage of crumb rubber versus asphalt content. Blending temperature, and test results on the properties at reaction times of 60, 90, 240, 360, and 1440 minutes in accordance with Section 300.2.9, asphalt rubber binders. Furnish a new asphalt rubber blend design if the grade or source for any of the components changes. If a tack coat is specified when using asphalt rubber, unless otherwise shown on the plans or approved, furnish CSS1H, SS1H, or a performance grade, PG, binder with a minimum high temperature grade of PG58 for tack coat binder. Do not dilute emulsified asphalts at the terminal, in the field, or at any other location before use. If required, verify that emulsified asphalt proposed for use meets the minimum residual asphalt percentage specified in Item 300, asphalts, oils, and emulsions. 2.2 Aggregate. Furnish aggregate meeting Item 302, aggregates for surface treatments, of the type and grade shown on the plans. Unless otherwise shown on the plans, furnish aggregate with a minimum B surface aggregate classification. 2.3 Material selections. Furnish asphalt and aggregate shown on the plans. 3. Equipment. 3.1 Distributor. Furnish a distributor that will apply the asphalt material uniformly at the specified rate or as directed. 3.1.1 Transverse variable rate. When a transverse variable rate is shown on the plans, ensure that the nozzles outside the wheel paths will output a predetermined percentage more asphalt material by volume than the nozzles over the wheel paths. Use a dual spray bar distributor as desired to provide for a transverse variable rate. 3.1.2 Agitation for asphalt rubber. If using asphalt rubber, furnish a distributor capable of keeping the rubber in uniform suspension and adequately mixing the asphalt, rubber, and any additional additives. 3.1.3 Calibration. 3.1.3.1 Transverse distribution. Furnish a distributor test report, less than 1 year old, when tested in accordance with Text 922K, Part 3. The department reserves the right to witness the calibration testing. Notify the engineer 3 days before calibration testing. Include the following documentation on the test report. The serial number of the distributor. A method that identifies the actual nozzle set used in the test, and the fan width of the nozzle set at 12 inches. Bar height. When a transverse variable rate is required, and a single spray bar is to be used, perform the test using the type and grade of asphalt material to be used on the project. The engineer may verify the transverse rate and distribution at any time. If verification does not meet the requirements, correct deficiencies, and furnish a new test report. 3.1.3.2 Tank volume. Furnish a volumetric calibration and strap stick for the distributor tank in accordance with Text 922K, Part I. Provide documentation of distributor calibration performed not more than 5 years before the date first used on the project. The engineer may verify calibration accuracy in accordance with Text 922K, Part 2. 3.1.4 Computerized distributor. When paying for asphalt material by weight, the engineer may allow use of the computerized distributor display to verify application rates. Verify application rate accuracy at a frequency acceptable to the engineer. 3.2 Aggregate spreader. Use a continuous feed, self-propelled spreader to apply aggregate uniformly at the specified rate or as directed. If racked-in aggregate is specified on the plans, furnish a second aggregate spreader for the racked-in aggregate to apply aggregate uniformly at the specified rate. 3.3 Rollers. Unless otherwise shown on the plans, furnish light pneumatic tire rollers in accordance with item 210, rolling. 3.4 Broom. Furnish rotary, self-propelled brooms. 3.5 Asphalt storage and handling equipment. When the plans or the engineer allows storage tanks, furnish a thermometer in each tank to indicate the asphalt temperature continuously. Keep equipment clean and free of leaks. Keep asphalt material free of contamination. 3.6 Aggregate haul trucks. Unless otherwise approved, use trucks of uniform capacity to deliver the aggregate. Provide documentation showing measurements and calculation in cubic yards. Clearly mark the calibrated level. Truck size may be limited when shown on the plans. 3.7 Digital distance measuring instrument. Furnish a vehicle with a calibrated digital distance measuring instrument accurate to plus or minus 6 feet per mile. 4 Construction. 4.1 General. Comply with the seal coat season as shown on the plans. Asphalt and aggregate rates shown on the plans are for estimating purposes only. Adjust the rates for existing conditions as directed. 4.2 Temporary aggregate stockpiles. The engineer will approve the location of temporary aggregate stockpiles on the right-of-way before delivery. Place stockpiles in a manner that will not obstruct traffic or sight distance, interfere with the access from abutting property, or interfere with roadway drainage. Locate stockpiles a minimum of 30 feet from roadway when possible. Sign and barricade as shown on the plans. 4.3 Aggregate furnished by the department. When shown on the plans, the department will furnish aggregate to the contractor without cost. Stockpile locations are shown on the plans. 4.4 Adverse weather conditions. Do not place surface treatments when, in the engineer's opinion, general weather conditions are unsuitable. Meet the requirements for air and surface temperature shown below. 4.4.1 Standard temperature limitations. Apply seal coat when air temperature is above 50 degrees Fahrenheit and rising. Do not apply seal coat when air temperature is 60 degrees Fahrenheit and falling. In all cases, do not apply seal coat when surface temperature is below 60 degrees Fahrenheit. 4.4.2 Polymer modified asphalt cement temperature limitations. When using materials described in section 300.2.2, polymer modified asphalt cement, apply seal coat when air temperature is above 70 degrees Fahrenheit and rising. Do not apply seal coat when air temperature is 80 degrees Fahrenheit and falling. In all cases, do not apply seal coat when surface temperature is below 70 degrees Fahrenheit. 4.4.3 Asphalt rubber temperature limitations. Do not place hot asphalt rubber seal coat when, in the engineer's opinion, general weather conditions are unsuitable. Apply seal coat when the air temperature is 80 degrees Fahrenheit and above, or above 70 degrees Fahrenheit and rising. In all cases, do not apply seal coat when surface temperature is below 70 degrees Fahrenheit. 4.4.4 Cool weather night air temperature. The engineer reserves the right to review the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, weather forecast and determine if the nightly air temperature is suitable for asphalt placement to prevent aggregate loss. 4.4.5 Cold weather application. When asphalt application is allowed outside of the above temperature restrictions, the engineer will approve the binder grade and the air and surface temperatures for asphalt material application. Apply seal coat at air and surface temperatures as directed. 4.5 Mixing hot AR binder. If using asphalt rubber, mix in accordance with the approved blend design required in section 316.2.1, asphalt. At the end of each shift, provide the engineer with production documentation, which includes the following: amount and temperature of asphalt cement before addition of rubber, amount of rubber and any extender added, viscosity of each hot AR batch just before roadway placement, and time of the rubber additions and viscosity tests. 4.6 Surface preparation. Remove existing raised pavement markers. Repair any damage incurred by removal as directed. Remove dirt, dust, or other harmful material before sealing. When shown on the plans, remove vegetation and blade pavement edges. When directed, apply a tack coat before applying the hot asphalt rubber treatment on an existing wearing surface in accordance with section 340.2.5, tack coat. 4.7 Rockland and shot. 4.7.1 Definitions. A rockland is the area covered at the aggregate rate directed with one truckload of aggregate. A shot is the area covered by one distributor load of asphalt material. 4.7.2 Setting lengths. Calculate the lengths of both rockland and shot. Adjust shot length to be an even multiple of the rockland. Verify that the distributor has enough asphalt material to complete the entire shot length. Mark shot length before applying asphalt. When directed, mark length of each rockland to verify the aggregate rate. 4.8 Asphalt placement. 4.8.1 General. The maximum shot width is the width of the current transverse distribution test required under section 316.3.1.3.1, transverse distribution, or the width of the aggregate spreader box, whichever is less. Adjust the shot width so operations do not encroach on traffic or interfere with the traffic control plan, as directed. Use paper or other approved material at the beginning and end of each shot to construct a straight transverse joint and to prevent overlapping of the asphalt. Unless otherwise approved, match longitudinal joints with the lane lines. The engineer may require a string line if necessary to keep joints straight with no overlapping. Use sufficient pressure to flare the nozzles fully. Select an application temperature, as approved, in accordance with item 300, asphalts, oils, and emulsions. Uniformly apply the asphalt material at the rate directed, within 15 degrees Fahrenheit of the approved temperature, and not above the maximum allowable temperature. 4.8.2 Limitations. Do not apply asphalt to the roadway until traffic control methods and devices are in place as shown on the plans or as directed. The loaded aggregate spreader is in position and ready to begin. Haul trucks are loaded with enough aggregate to cover the shot area and are in place behind the spreader box, and rollers are in place behind the haul trucks. 4.8.3 Non-uniform application. Stop application if it is not uniform due to streaking, ridging, puddling, or flowing off the roadway surface. Verify equipment condition, operating procedures, application temperature, and material properties. Determine and correct the cause of non-uniform application. If the cause is high or low emulsion viscosity, replace emulsion with material that corrects the problem. 4.8.4 Test strips. The engineer may stop asphalt application and require construction of test strips at the contractor's expense if any of the following occurs. Non-uniformity of application continues after corrective action. On 3 consecutive shots, application rate differs by more than 0.03 gal per square yard from the rate directed, or any shot differs by more than 0.05 gal per square yard from the rate directed. The engineer will approve the test strip location. The engineer may require additional test strips until surface treatment application meets specification requirements. 4.9 Aggregate placement. As soon as possible, apply aggregate uniformly at the rate directed without causing the rock to roll over. 4.9.1 Non-uniform application. Stop application if it is not uniform in the transverse direction. Verify equipment condition, operating procedures, and transverse application rate. The transverse application rate should be within 1 pound. Determine and correct the cause of non-uniform application. 4.10 Rolling. Start rolling operation on each shot as soon as aggregate is applied. Use sufficient rollers to cover the entire mat width in one pass, i.e., one direction. Roll in a staggered pattern. Unless otherwise shown on the plans, make a minimum of 5 passes, or 3 passes when the asphalt material is an emulsion. If rollers are unable to keep up with the spreader box, stop application until rollers have caught up, or furnish additional rollers. Keep roller tires asphalt free. 4.11 Patching. Before rolling, repair spots where coverage is incomplete. Repair can be made by hand spotting or other approved method. When necessary, apply additional asphalt material to embed aggregate. 4.12 Racked-in aggregate. If specified on the plans, apply racked-in aggregate after patching, uniformly at the rate directed. The racked-in aggregate must be applied before opening the roadway or intersection to traffic. 4.13 Brooming. After rolling, sweep as soon as aggregate has sufficiently bonded to remove excess. In areas of racked-in aggregate, sweep as directed. 4.14 Final acceptance. Maintain seal coat until the engineer accepts the work. Repair any surface failures. Before final project acceptance, remove all temporary stockpiles and restore the area to the original contour and grade. 5 Measurement. 5.1 Asphalt material. Unless otherwise shown on the plans, asphalt material will be measured by one of the following methods. 5.1.1 Volume. Asphalt material, including all components, will be measured at the applied temperature by strapping the tank before and after road application. The distributor calibrated strap stick will be used for measuring the asphalt level in the distributor asphalt tank. The certified tank chart will be used to determine the beginning gallons and the final gallons in the distributor tank. The quantity to be measured for payment will be the difference between the beginning gallons and the final gallons. 5.1.2 Weight. Asphalt material will be measured in tons using certified scales meeting the requirements of item 520, weighing and measuring equipment, unless otherwise approved. The transporting truck must have a seal attached to the draining device and other openings. Random checking on public scales at the contractor's expense may be required to verify weight accuracy. Upon work completion or temporary suspension, any remaining asphalt material will be weighed by a certified public weigher, or measured by volume in a calibrated distributor or tank and the quantity converted to tons at the measured temperature. The quantity to be measured will be the number of tons received minus the number of tons remaining after all directed work is complete and minus the amount used for other items. 5.1.3 Quantity adjustments. When shown on the plans, the measured quantity will be adjusted to compensate for variation in required application or residual rates for different types of asphalt. 5.2 Aggregate. Aggregate will be measured by the cubic yard in the trucks as applied on the road. Strike off the loaded aggregate for accurate measurement when directed. 5.3 Loading, hauling, and distributing aggregate. When the department furnishes the aggregate, the loading, hauling, and distributing will be measured by the cubic yard in the trucks as applied on the road. 6 Payment. The work performed and materials furnished in accordance with this item and measured as provided under measurement will be paid for at the unit prices bid for asphalt, aggregate, and loading, hauling, and distributing aggregate of the types grades specified on the plans. These prices are full compensation for surface preparation, furnishing, preparing, hauling, and placing materials, removing existing pavement markers and excess aggregate, rolling, cleaning up stockpiles, and equipment, labor, tools, and incidentals.